When you want to level up your credit card game through hundreds of dollars in rewards and credits, or elite status and room upgrades, these are the premium luxury credit cards you need to consider. Yes, there will be higher annual fees, but if you're paying $400 and getting $1,000 in value with several more perks on top of it, that's essentially free value. So on that note, let's talk about that exact card, the Capital One Venture X, because if you're going to get just one premium card, it's easy. This one. And I'm not kidding when I say you get much more value from the card than you pay with annual fees. Yes, it does cost $395 to keep the card open, but it's the lowest annual fee out of all the cards on the list today. Every year, you'll be getting $300 in credit for travel booked through the Capital One portal, as well as $100 worth of points from year 2 onwards. There is the restriction on having to book through the Capital One travel portal, but if we check some flights like this one from Seattle to New York in early March, the flights are hovering around $300, which is the same if you check on Google Flights for the exact same route and time. Whereas over on the Capital One portal, you have price prediction, freezing prices for a couple of weeks, as well as an elevated 5 times points for your purchase. And that's similar for hotels as well, but you're gonna be earning an elevated 10 times points on those purchases through the portal, meaning that's at least equivalent to 10% cash back if you use it towards more travel, or even 15-20% or more if you decide to use those points through Capital One travel partners, something I made a whole video around that I'll link up above. That means just between the 2 credits, you're getting $400 in value every single year, and compared to the $395 annual fee, that means you're getting paid $5 a year to keep the card open, and that's not including all the extra perks that come with the card too. You're still gonna get a base 2 times points on all of your spend, which is at least equivalent to 2% cash back if redeemed for travel. Now, when you first get this card and hit the minimum spend, you're gonna get 75,000 points right off the bat. Meaning, again, that's at least $750 for travel, or way more if using travel partners. And traveling is key here, because like a lot of other premium cards, travel is where you get the bulk of the benefits, just like getting a $100 credit towards global entry and TSA PreCheck. And with traveling just picking back up, it's gonna save you a lot of time having a dedicated line, or not having to take off your shoes and extra steps through security. But now imagine you're at the airport, walking through security and have some extra time to kill before your flight. Well, you can sit and wait at the gate, or have some overpriced food and drinks, or you can use the lounge access that comes with the card, giving you access to over 1,000 lounges around the world as part of the Priority Pass network for you and 2 guests, or access to their new Capital One lounges with 2 guests as well. There's not that many open yet, with the only one being Dallas Fort Worth and upcoming ones in Denver and Washington, but there's going to be more along the way and seem to be competing with the likes of the Amex Centurion lounges. Then throw in no foreign transaction fees, cell phone protection, free additional card holders who themselves also get the lounge access, as well as Hertz President Circle that lets you match over to other rental car statuses. You have an action-packed card that's essentially paying you $5 a year to keep open. No matter what setup you currently have, or you're just trying to get your first premium card, you gotta consider the Venture X. The American Express Platinum card, the most expensive card on the list today, coming in at $695 in annual fees. And I almost never spend on it given its horrendous categories for elevated points. But even then, it's the card I've gotten the most value out of by a wide margin. And that's because, just like the Venture X, I'm able to use enough credits every year on the card, essentially making the card free for all the other perks that come with it. Some people say it's more of a coupon book than an actual premium card, and that's kind of true. There are a lot of credits, so let's quickly go over them along with which ones I take advantage of. Starting with the $200 in hotel credit, booking FHR or the hotel collection. This one I'm able to use almost every year given I travel at least a couple times each year. The most common use case of this in my experience has been in Vegas, given the hotel stays are already pretty cheap, yet you're still getting hundreds of dollars in value for all the perks you get booking FHR. Between the room upgrades, breakfast credit, and $100 experience credit, it can basically make the room break even. Then there's the $240 in digital entertainment credit, which I personally don't fully use, but if you use Disney Plus, Hulu, and any of the others, you can really make the most out of this. Then $155 for Walmart Plus. I usually shop for groceries locally, so I have no real use case for this perk. Lounge access is similar to the Venture X, giving you priority pass, but you're also getting Centurion Lounge access, which has many more locations around the globe. Now the $200 in Uber Cash, that's the easiest perk to use. I use it monthly and I wish there were more. $200 in airline fee credit. Again, I fly enough to use this credit, given I'm able to upgrade my seats to the more premium seats, which don't really count for full class upgrades, at least for now. $300 in Equinox credit. Now, even with the recent changes allowing for $300 upfront and online classes or one-time passes, I'm still not able to use it because there's just no Equinox around me. $100 for Saks Fifth Avenue, easy to use towards holiday gifts every year, and $189 for Clear Credit, which lets me breeze through security at a lot of airports in the US. So really, just between the $200 in hotel credit, $200 in Uber Cash, $200 in airline fee credit, and the $100 in Saks Fifth Avenue, that's already $700 in value, offsetting the annual fee. But with a lot of premium cards, there's a bunch of travel perks too. And this is the card I rely on for my elite status, like Marriott and Hilton Gold, that gives me minor upgrades throughout my stays, or the recent Hertz President Circle, which is really awesome, unless you're like me and you already have it through the Venture X card. So basically this is my coupon book, but I'm just able to justify the annual fee with all the different credits. And that's on top of perks like status when I travel, as well as the high sign-up bonus that can go as high as 150,000 points. Second to Chase, I think Amex is still an awesome ecosystem to earn points in, giving you a floor value of 0.6 cents a point when redeemed for cash, or 1 cent per point when redeemed for flights through the portal, but I still think you can get 2 cents per point on average when booking through travel partners. For example, flying ANA over to Japan round trip business class, which can value your points at around 10 cents a point. I mean, even just getting the average of 2 cents per point, that makes your sign-up bonus worth $3,000. There's also a whole load of trip insurance, extended warranty, return protection, and more, but check out the full review in the video up above. The Chase Sapphire Reserve. Now, this is a weird one for me. On one hand, it's not my premium card of choice, because that would be the American Express Platinum card. On the other hand, it does have an elevated 80,000 Chase point sign-up bonus and the easiest travel credit you'll ever get with $300 off travel from any source. With Chase points being the best currency out there, as well as an easy to use credit that brings the effective annual fee down from $550 to about $250. This is a card that could be a good all-rounder too. You'll also get partner benefits like 10 times points for Lyft, free Dash Pass with $5 a month in credit, $10 a month in GoPuff, and $15 in monthly Instacart credits. So technically, if you were able to use all those credits, then you would come out ahead and actually make the card break even, if not more. But one thing I'm starting to find a bit difficult is trying to juggle all the different benefits of all my cards. With $5 here, $15 here, it's hard to keep track of everything. And technically, if you don't use all these credits, then the cards may not give you the full value they could be. It'll take some time to get used to and stay organized, but it's a small price to pay that should only get easier as you get more used to your own card setup. So maybe you're at break even or you're still in the negative. What does this card get you? Well, for one, you do get elevated earning from several categories, with standout ones being 3 times on all travel, no matter the source, and 3 times on dining including delivery and takeout. But the main special perk is getting an elevated 50% bonus when you're spending your Chase points through the travel portal, which not only affects this card, but all of your Chase cards because you can combine your points and then use them through the reserve. That means instead of getting 1 cent per point for cashback, which is already better than Amex, you could be getting 1.5 cents per point when you're booking travel through the portal, or one of the pay yourself back categories, which includes dining for the reserve. That's one of the big reasons why Chase points are more valuable than Amex, given its flexibility you have even if you're not transferring to partners and still get great value. But if you do want maximum value for your points, then there are still a whole bunch of partners you can go through, like Hyatt, which will give you 2 to 3 cents per point redemptions on hotel stays, or transferring to partners like Aeroplan, sometimes with a bonus, and getting 2 round-trip business class flights to Taiwan and Japan for about 123,000 points per ticket, valuing my points at about 5 cents per point. Again, premium cards like these have a bunch of travel and purchase coverage, so I'll just leave them up here, so pause if you want to read. Now, when this card first came out, it had an insane 100,000 point sign-up bonus, which if it comes around again, I probably will get it. But I already have 2 other premium cards, and nothing about this card right now screams get it now. Instead, to fill in my Chase Sapphire slot, I prefer the Chase Sapphire Preferred given this lower annual fee and still have the ability to transfer my Chase points over to their partners. However, if you don't already have a premium card and you can use a $300 travel credit or all the other ones that come with the card, it's still a great one to have. The Delta Sky Miles Reserve card. Now this premium card is a bit more specific compared to the other ones we talked about, as most of its benefits come from spending with Delta. Though there are a lot of other cards out there that have similar benefits, like the United Infinite or the Alaska cards, but for this video, we'll stick to the Delta one. So unfortunately, this card right now only has a 50,000 mile sign-up bonus with 10,000 MQMs after you hit the sign-up bonus, but on some occasions has gone as high as 125,000 miles, so even more than double. And Delta Miles, although not as flexible and strong as Amex or Chase points, it still holds some strong value during some flash sales. Now this card will be pretty beneficial if you spend with Delta a lot, given 3 times points when you're spending on Delta purchases, but you'll only get 1 times on everything else. So where does all the other value come from to justify the $550 in annual fees? Well, first, you get access to Centurion lounges as well as Delta Sky Club, including 2 guest passes. With priority pass lounges getting packed nowadays, it's pretty nice to have some more unique niche lounges. Second, airline status is notoriously hard to achieve. And with Delta, you need a combination of MQMs, meaning medallion qualification miles, and MQDs, medallion qualification dollars. But with this card, you can spend to earn Delta status, because the sign-up bonus already gives you 10,000 MQMs, and you can get 15,000 more each $30,000 in spend up to 4 times. That, along with waived MQDs, means if you spend $30,000 with the card, with the bonus, you're already gonna reach silver status. And spending $90,000 on a card gets you gold. Yes, that's a lot of spend, but there aren't that many ways, if there are at all, to spend towards the status. Which, if you're flying Delta, or even just having this card in general, puts you way ahead of the line for any potential upgrades on your Delta flights. Just one of these upgrades could potentially pay for the annual fee already. But another major piece of value from this card is the annual companion certificate, which will let you bring someone with you for just taxes and fees, no matter if you're in main cabin, Delta Comfort, or even first class. So who is this card for? If you fly Delta a lot and want to earn the status, especially when there's a high sign-up bonus, then this card is for you. Personally, I'm in an Alaska hub, so I would probably look into those cards before I even look into the Delta ones. The Hilton Aspire card. So we talked about an airline card, so I thought I'd add add a hotel card in here too. The two main perks of the card that make the $450 worth it are the complimentary diamond status, which is Hilton's top of the line status, as well as the annual free night award with a second one after $60,000 in spend. Now, the popular travel blog The Points Guy values the diamond status at over $3,000, but in reality, you have to judge for yourself. And I think if you do stay at Hilton properties a lot, you should come out positive. Not only are you getting bonus points on your stay, as well as food and beverage credit, hotel lounge access, and way more, but you're also getting room upgrades that include suites. But then the free night award takes the crown. Given there's no main restrictions, the certificate itself could already cover the annual fee depending on where you're staying. But to really maximize the value and go wild, you could stay at the Waldorf Astoria Maldives, where one night can cost north of $2,000. So in my opinion, if you have massive aspirational trips or stay with Hilton a lot and really value the diamond status or annual certificate, you can't go wrong with this card. And if you're not staying at Hilton's a lot, you could consider other cards like the Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant, which also gives a high-end platinum elite status and a free night award, $300 in dining credit, and more. With all of that said, my recommendation is to first get a more flexible card, the Amex Platinum, the Venture X, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, before you jump into the more specific cards like the airline and hotel card. But no matter which cards you get, make sure you're able to justify the annual fee with the credits and other perks you get with a card every year. I also don't recommend jumping into these cards without first having a solid foundation of other cards, which is why you should check out this video for the best credit card strategy, especially if you're into traveling. See you over there.